We are glad to welcome you to our channel. Kindly subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and relations. And click on the bell icon for instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Rest assured that we are going to have a very exciting and inspiring discussion. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Hello, friends. In today's lesson, we are going to discuss 4 essential things a good article intro must contain. An article intro refers to the introductory paragraph of an article, which is the first paragraph of the article. In the course of this lesson, I will show you a sample article intro to illustrate these 4 essential things that a good article intro must contain. I am Benjamin from English Classes Online. Let's dive into it without further ado. First, let's look at the lesson objectives. Number 1, what is an article? 2, why is an article intro important? 3, the essential things an article intro must contain, which include the following: A hook, B, context, C, thesis statement, and D, transition. Let's discuss these items one by one. What is an article? An article is a piece of writing that discusses a topic of public interest and is usually meant to be published in a national newspaper, a school magazine, or an international magazine. Why is an article intro important? An article intro is important because the introduction of an article is the first thing a reader sees, and it sets the tone for the entire piece. When you pick a newspaper or magazine and you go through the headlines and you want to read a particular headline, once you open the page of the article, after the headline, the first thing you see is the first paragraph, which is the intro. That's the introductory paragraph. Okay? A good intro should grab the reader's attention, provide context, and give a clear idea of what the article is about. Now, let's begin to examine the essential things an article intro must contain. Here are 4 essential things that every good article intro should contain. A hook, B, context, C, thesis statement, and D, transition. Let's examine them one by one, beginning with a hook. The first essential thing a good article intro must contain is a hook that grabs the reader's attention. The hook can be a startling statistic, an interesting fact, a provocative question, a quote, or a personal anecdote. Let's look at an example of each of these. Startling statistic. For example, did you know that 90% of people believe that climate change is real, yet only 40% of Americans recycle regularly? So a startling statistic has a way of grabbing the reader's attention. For example, this hook is startling in the sense that it gives you the percentage of people who believe that climate change is real and gives you a contrasting percentage of those who recycle regularly. So this can, trigger some interest, some curiosity in the reader, okay? Now, another type of hook is an interesting fact. For example, the world's oldest piece of chewing gum is over 9 years old. You know, this piece of interesting fact can actually grab your attention, because a piece of chewing gum that is, reported to have existed for over 9,000 years, okay, and it still remains relevant. So you might want to check it out. Now, the next one is provocative question, which we can also call a rhetorical question. For example, have you ever wondered why some people are successful while others struggle? Now, a rhetorical or provocative question is not meant to elicit a direct answer from the reader or the audience. Instead, it is meant to emphasize an important point or to achieve a dramatic effect. So it's something that grabs the attention of the reader, who would want to, who might like to find the answer to the question raised. Now, the next one is a quote. For example, the best way to predict the future is to create it, by Abraham Lincoln. What a quote does is that it, it raises some consciousness in the mind of the reader that if such a great personality as Abraham Lincoln could talk about this topic, that means it must be anecdote. For example, when I was a child, my parents always told me to eat my vegetables, but I never understood why until I learned about the benefits of a healthy diet. So if you are writing an article on the benefits of a healthy diet, this reference to your childhood days might actually trigger something in the reader, okay? And so it then grabs the reader's attention. So that's what an anecdote does. An anecdote is a short story that is meant to introduce a discussion. Now, this brings us to the second essential thing that an article intro must contain, and that is context. All right? Now, the context provides background information that helps the reader understand the topic. Now, we can call the context background information. And what it does is that it throws more light on the topic. So if the reader doesn't know much about the topic, then the background information helps the reader to understand the topic. All right, so that's what the context or background information does. Now, the background information can include historical information, current events, or a brief overview of the subject. Okay, let's look at an example. Historical information. The history of Pisa, that's for example, the history of Pisa can be traced back to ancient civilizations such as Greece and Rome. Now, this background information can actually, raise the consciousness of the reader to understand that this is a long-standing subject of great importance, dating back to ancient civilizations such as Greece and Rome. Now, another one is current events. For example, with the COVID-19 pandemic continuing to affect the world, many businesses are struggling to survive. Now, what the use of current events does is that it makes the topic look fresh and timely, all right? Because it is still relevant to the current happening. So a reader who reads this will likely want to update his or her knowledge of current events. And in relation to the context, the topic being discussed, the interest just grows, okay? The next one is brief overview. For example, in this article, we will discuss the benefits of mindfulness meditation for reducing stress and anxiety. You see, this brief overview is a method in which you just give the reader a summary, of what the article is all about. And that actually also helps the reader to understand the topic more, okay? So that is exactly about context or background information. The next essential thing an article intro must contain is thesis statement. And the thesis statement tells the reader what the article is about and what the author's main argument or point is. In other words, the thesis statement shows the reader the main idea to be discussed in the article. It gives the reader a big picture, an overview, if you like, of what the entire article is about. Let's look at an example. The thesis statement for an article about climate change could be as follows. In this article, we will explore the effects of climate change on the environment and discuss what we can do to reduce our carbon footprint. Now, this thesis statement tells the reader that the article is about the effects of climate change on the environment, and that the article will discuss what can be done to reduce carbon footprint. So that is the thesis statement. It's a summary of what the entire article is about. And what this does is that it helps the reader to appreciate the importance of the topic, because the more you know about something, the more you become interested in it. Understanding is key. People don't like reading what they do not understand, but if you begin to understand something, it gets more interesting, okay? Now, another example, the thesis statement for an article about the benefits of exercise could be: regular exercise has numerous benefits for both physical and mental health. And in this article, we will discuss how to incorporate exercise into your daily routine. So these are examples of thesis statement. And the fourth essential thing an article intro must contain is transition. All right? The transition connects the thesis statement to the rest of the article and prepares the reader for what is to come. Let's look at an example. Transition for an article about causes of road accidents can read as follows. In the following paragraphs, I will discuss the causes of road accidents and suggest ways of solving the problem. You see, the thesis statement gives you a summary, a clear, complete picture of what the entire article is about. What the transition does is to, open the door and then ask the reader to enter the body of the article and begin to read, in greater detail. So that's exactly. So a transition is about movement from one location to another. The transition is what takes the reader from the intro, that's the introductory paragraph, and then ushers the reader into the body of the article, which begins in paragraph 2. So you can see this example here in the following paragraphs. Of course, the following paragraphs after paragraph 1, will start from paragraph 2, which is the beginning of the body of the article. In the following paragraphs, I will discuss the causes of road accidents and suggest ways of solving them. Okay, so that is what a transition does. And then this brings us to article intro sample. We want to take a look at what the introductory paragraph of an article should look like. Let's assume you are writing an article on the benefits of the reading culture in schools. Now, here is an example. This is a sample of what the first or introductory paragraph, which we call the intro, should look like. Now, here you can see of course, you can look at you can see the four different four essential things, beginning with the hook, context, thesis statement, and transition. Okay, so let's read through them and see exactly. There is more treasure in books than in all the pirates' loot on Treasure Island. So said Walt Disney, a notable scholar. Similarly, Napoleon Bonaparte, a great French leader, said, "Show me a family of readers, and I will show you the people who move the world." Now, these two statements, which are quotes or quotations, credited to two notable leaders or scholars, form the hook. Now, don't forget, a hook is, either a statement or a group of statements meant to grab the reader's attention. They are usually the first sentence or the first two sentences. Here we have the first two sentences. In the first one, we have a quote, attributed to Walt Disney. And what a quote does is that it raises the consciousness and the interest of the reader, because the reader considers that, well, if such a great personality as Walt Disney, a notable scholar, could could describe the benefit of reading, then it must be important. So the reader would want to know more about the benefits of the reading culture, if such a personality could also agree that the reading culture in schools has a lot of benefits. And then the second sentence, which is a quote attributed to Napoleon Bonaparte, a great French leader. And so you see, the fact that this statement was made by a great French leader draws the attention of the reader. And secondly, what the man has said is equally of great importance. Look at what he said. "Show me a family of readers, and I will show you the people who move the world." That's how important, the reading culture is. And so a hook, to a fisherman is that fishing tool with the sharp curved end that grabs the fish by the throat and draws it out from the water. But just for you to have a picture of what a hook is like. But here, this is a mental hook, if you like. It grabs the attention. So a hook is an attention grabber. That's what it is meant to achieve in the introductory paragraph of an article. Then let's look at the second essential part of this introduction, which is context or background information. For example, creating a reading culture in schools is no doubt an effective way of encouraging students to become good and motivated readers. As I earlier mentioned, what the context of background information does is that it helps the reader to understand the topic more. So even if you don't understand what reading culture is about, then you will understand that it is something that, encourages students, encourages students to become good readers, as simple as that. So it enables the reader to have more understanding. Then the next one is the thesis statement. For example, a reading culture in schools creates an environment where reading is highly valued and encouraged, and it has a lot of benefits. So the thesis statement gives a summary of what the entire article is about. And there's a relationship between the headline or the topic or title, if you like, and the thesis statement. The thesis statement is about the topic, everything that the writer is going to discuss concerning this topic is captured in the thesis statement. Now, the topic is the benefits of the reading culture in schools. And then the thesis statement is telling you that a reading culture in schools creates an environment where reading is highly valued and encouraged, and it has a lot of benefits. That summarizes everything the writer is going to discuss. All right. And then the last but not the least, which is the fourth essential thing that every good article intro must contain, is transition. For example, in the following paragraphs, I will discuss a few of the most important ones. Now, what are the important ones? That is, important benefits. Although there are numerous benefits, the writer is telling you, let's go into the body of the article, and I'm going to discuss a few of the most important benefits of reading culture. So what the transition does is that it functions like a door, or it opens the door and then ushers in the reader to the next section of the article. So that is why it is called transition. So, and this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, make sure you like this video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comments section below. See you in the next class. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video.